Good evening. My name is Tanya, and I want to thank you all for being here tonight and allowing me to share with you how Northwest Children's Fund has made a big difference in my life. My earliest memory was when I was about 5 years old, sitting in a living room beside my mom with a CPS worker. My mom teased, "She already knows what she wants to do when she grows up. She told me she wants to run away." What made me say something like that? I never felt a part of my own family. My parents had a short marriage, and while my dad wasn't absent in my life, he was abusive and sometimes violent to my family. My mom worked hard, mostly graveyard, to provide for me and my older brother and sister. It's hard to put into words what the abuse was like at home, but my family belittled me a lot. They use a lot of names like stupid and other names I can't even mention here. They didn't even want to teach me their language, Tagalog. They said they didn't trust me. They disliked me and I felt like an outsider. On top of all this, my mom was diagnosed with cancer when I was 12 years old. As I mentioned before, life wasn't always easy at my mom's, so at one point I tried to live with my dad, until one night we had a miscommunication. Earlier that evening, he said I could go see my friends, but later on I heard he was looking for me, so I went back home and he beat the crap out of me. He was drunk. I sent myself home, back to my mom's, where only more violence waited for me and I knew time was running short. Catfights with my sister escalated until one morning when she threatened me with a gun. I felt I had no place to go. My school counselor recommended Cocoon House, so I called them. A staff member drove out to get me and I found an open bed at their shelter. I was 14 when I left home. But I didn't stay there long. I was angry and I didn't want to deal with my problems. Consequently, I dropped out of school. Life was a roller coaster until I turned 16. I was in and out of hotels, sleeping outside or at multiple shelters. If you look outside the world, you see cars, buildings, streets, strangers, but for the people who live on those streets, it's not the same. It's not a playground, it's a battlefield. Drugs, dangers, stealing food to eat, you never know who or what you'll find. I learned from those who had been there longer than me, examples of what not to do. If you have to steal food to survive, don't get caught. I assimilated street life with survival and somehow even managed to get my GED during all this. I kept going back to Cocoon House for support, but being the kid, I was always left so many times. I had left so many times. Whenever I needed them, Cocoon House took me back. Even after 16 exits, Cocoon House believed I could make it and wanted to support me. They never gave up on me. I reached my turnaround point after overdosing on several prescription medications. I felt useless and shameful while cancer was taking my mom, so I just wanted to sleep for a very long time. It took 3 days to recover at Harborview, but I found inspiration from staff there who were making such a difference in someone else's lives. This encouraged me to enroll at Bryman College to study under the medical assistant program. I started school and got a part-time job before I returned to Cocoon House. Back at Cocoon, I was finally somewhere safe where people listened to me and supported me as they wanted me to succeed. I was on track and staff worked with me on a plan to move back home and reconnect and help care for my sick mom. My mom died the week of my finals. The only family I had left was Cocoon. They helped me through my bereavement and I realized these people never stopped believing in me and never stopped loving me. I didn't want to leave them, so they helped me get emancipated and get a driver's license and do all those things parents normally do. I started my career at Everett Bone and Joint. When I turned 18, it was time to leave Cocoon. Being on my own, I discovered unexpected challenges. At 19, I contacted Cocoon again and they helped me into Friends of Youth, transitional living for 18 to 21. Living there for 18 months, I was given a safe environment, support, and learned to build financial security and practice being an adult. Now, I live on my own and I'm doing really good at it. Until now, I thought I wasn't capable of feeling more than just content. I thought I had to be that kid that grew up with a family, went to prom, graduate from high school, get married, and start a family to feel normal. I know I don't have to be that girl anymore, and I've found the feeling of real happiness. I'm so happy knowing that it turned out to be me. Today, I am proud to say I can give back to my community. I volunteer with Sharing Wheels, where I help rebuild bicycles that are given to families that can't afford them. At Bryman, I am part of the advisory board, also doing motivational speaking, and this fall, I will be joining Cocoon House Board of Directors. I'm continuing my career as a medical assistant and attending college at night so that I can one day go to medical school and become a doctor. I see the volunteer work I do. Thank you. I see the volunteer work I do in my career in medicine as a way to give back. Helping others is a way of being there while I wasn't able to be there for my mom. All these agencies that help me are supported by Northwest Children's Fund. If these programs aren't there, where will the next kid go? Thank you for supporting me, kids like me, and Northwest Children's Fund.